بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Zakatul Fitr, it does not come with the chapter of fasting, it does come with the chapter of zakah. And Zakatul Fitr is a zakah and it's attached to the fitr. And it is, the ruling of it is to be compulsory upon every Muslim. When we say upon every Muslim, that means the one who is in charge of the family, he is in charge to produce the Zakatul Fitr on every single member of his family. So it is compulsory upon the Muslim, and the Prophet of Allah had said, فَرَضَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ. The Messenger of Allah had made it obligatory upon us, Zakatul Fitr. So it is compulsory. Not only that, to give it to the just upon the ones who are in your household, even upon your slaves. If you've got slaves as well, Zakatul Fitr is to be compulsory upon the master to give Zakatul Fitr on behalf of his slaves. What is the wisdom behind? Now,
it's wisdom. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh said the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam obligated Zakat al-Fitr as purification for the fasting person from foul or vain speech and to feed the poor.
Okay, so it is for two reasons. Number one is to purify the person from the inevitable indecent speech. A person about to indulge into something, either is something which is excessive, that she's not supposed to see said, or could be bad thing. So that would expiate all of that and would regain his fast into purity, not to be scratched. So Zakatul Fitr is important for that. And the second reason is it's a food for the poor people. And the poor people here are the poor amongst the Muslims. So it's a poor people for the Muslims, is not to be given to the non-Muslims. Now, if the person is a revert, or let's say a person who is having a member of his family, God forbid, committed apostasy, he's not a Muslim anymore, so the person who is in charge of the family will produce Zakatul Fitr on behalf of each member of his family, as long as they are Muslims. So they're not Muslims, there's no Zakatul Fitr on their behalf, because they're not Muslims anyway. But Zakatul Fitr, who's sitting here?
Tell her, he's going to get my book.
But Zakatul Fitr, also, even if it is not to be taken out from a non-Muslim, is not to be given to a non-Muslim. So Zakatul Fitr is only for the Muslim. And any opinion which says it is to the non-Muslim, like the Christian, the Jews, that's not correct. General sadaqah, yes, but not Zakatul Fitr. Right, upon whom it's compulsory?
It is obligatory upon every free Muslim who possesses enough to support himself and his family for one day and night. It is obligatory for him to be on behalf of himself and all whom he supports.
It's obligatory again, it's obligatory.
It is obligatory for him to be on behalf of himself.
To be?
Yeah, to be on behalf of himself and all whom he supports, such as
pay on behalf of himself. It's not to be, isn't it? It's supposed to be. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Okay.
It is obligatory for him to pay on behalf of himself and all whom he supports, such as his wife, children and servants, if they are Muslims. Ibn Umar radiallahu anh said the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ordered that Zakat al-Fitr be given on behalf of the young, old, free, slave and those whom you support.
Right. So Zakat al-Fitr basically is upon every Muslim who is free. So it is not slave. If it's a slave, it is not incumbent upon the slave. It's upon the master. And he is a Muslim. So if he's a non-Muslim, there is no Zakatul Fitr. And he is as well owner of food, which is for the day and the night. So if he hasn't got his food for the day and the night, then there is no Zakatul Fitr for him to be paid. But if he's got his food in the day and the night, an extra surplus, then it will be incumbent upon him to pay Zakatul Fitr. That is why the poor people who have got nothing, when they receive Zakatul Fitr 2 days or 1 day before Salatul Eid, they will become rich, and in themselves as well, in turn, So it will be their turn to pay Zakatul Fitr out of what they have received. Just like that man who had intercourse with his wife on the day of Ramadan, and he came to the Prophet of Allah and he said to him to expiate, and he said to him, free a slave. He said, I can't have a slave, Messenger of Allah, fast 60 days. He said, I can't. Then he said to him, feed 60 poor people. So he said, I don't have anything. So the Prophet told him, wait. So he doesn't have anything. So if the Prophet did not receive zakah himself, the Prophet of Allah, he would have said to him, go home, khalas, there is nothing on you to do. But as soon as he received zakah, he said, okay, take this and give it to the poor people. Messenger of Allah, poorer than me? There's no way between the two mountains of Medina, the lavas mountains, poorer than me. So that person, he was poor, but now once he had the zakat al-fitr, he became what? Rich to give to the poor. Okay? So if the person is poor and he's got just his food for the day and the night, but no surplus on top of that, no zakat al-fitr on him. But once he receives zakat al-fitr from other people, it will become compulsory upon him to produce from what he had received to other poor people, and so on and so forth. So, and he says it is incumbent upon him and upon every person who is in his household, who is in charge and responsible to pay them. So if, for example, his father died and left his sisters with him, and his sister also included, he has to pay zakat al-fitr compulsory. If his father and mother are with him and he supports them, then it's incumbent upon him to pay zakat al-fitr also on their behalf. Zakat al-fitr is to be paid upon their behalf, and if he wishes to pay zakat al-fitr on behalf of a son who had detached himself from the family, he is now at the moment is independent, but he wants to pay zakat al-fitr on his behalf, then he has to be with his consent. Also, if the son wants to pay behalf on his father, and his father is independent with his wife somewhere else, then it has to be with the consent of his father. It will not reach the son or the father if he paid zakat al-fitr without them giving the consent. So if they said to you, yeah, okay, because zakat al-fitr is not that much, I'm sorry, okay, dad paid on behalf, oh, son paid on our behalf, no problem. They didn't give the consent and you just said, because I know they don't pay zakat al-fitr, they got nothing to do with it, they don't know nothing about it, let me pay it on their behalf. It does not reach them. It has to be said to them, and then they will give you the consent, or they'll say to you, no, we will pay it on our behalf. Right. Now, zakat al-fitr is also to be paid on the old and the young, but not the baby in the womb. So the baby in the womb is zakat al-fitr on him, unless that baby in the womb was born just before sunset. So before sunset of the last day, before sunset of the last day. So if he was born, let's say tomorrow is the last day, Jumu'ah is the Eid, and this child was born after sunset of tomorrow, is no zakat al-fitr. Before sunset, it was zakat al-fitr. So your wife is pregnant, tell her, hold, please, don't give delivery now, after Maghrib, so we don't have to pay zakat al-fitr. The same thing here with the person, if this person had lived, not the whole month, and he died. Do I need to pay zakat al-fitr on his behalf? Do you understand that? So this person is one of my children, and I'm going to pay zakat al-fitr on him. So if he dies, do I have to pay zakat al-fitr on his behalf or not? Well, verily, as well, this is a controversial. Some of the scholars, they say that if he has to live until after sunset, then he pays zakat al-fitr on his behalf. That means he finished Ramadan. If he did not live to the sunset, then there is no zakat al-fitr on his behalf. Coming back now to how much zakat al-fitr should be paid. Now,
its amount. Obligatory upon every individual is half a sa' of wheat, or a sa' of dates, raisins, barley, or dried yogurt, or other kinds of food that can take their place, such as rice and other staple foods. The evidence for the obligation.
okay. Well, I'll talk about that myself. So basically it is either a sa' from any dry food except did he say what? The barley? No, the wheat. Yeah, the wheat. The flour, the wheat. Except for that wheat, which you could give half a sa'. Now the sa' is a volume size. It is not a weight. Volume size. But we could really, because make it easy for the people, sometimes we don't really use these days our hands to take. And which hands we're going to use? The baby hand of, for example, Tamim, or my both hands, like mashallah, big person. So which hand we're going to use? So they say that it is the average hand. Average hand. But in terms of, we could just say that we have the sa' in Medina. And it's kept to the moment. How much is that? In a cup. And I've seen it. I've held it myself. The sa'. By this, take from this, which is because it says the average Hashemite hand. Sa'. Average Hashemite hand. And it was being kept even with Imam Malik. When Imam Malik was making a debate with one of the students of Imam Abu Hanifa. So about the sa', Imam Malik, he went to his son, he said, this is the sa', why are you debating me about? So he's got the sa'. The sa' differs from one item to an item in regards of weight number. For example, a sa' of sugar is definitely heavier than the sa' of the rice, because the density of the sugar much thicker than the density of the rice. And because of the small particles of this sugar, they stick together, you'll have more weight from the sa' than you have from the rice. More than you have from the raisins. The raisins will be much lighter than the rice and the sugar. Okay? Even the rice itself. There's rice, basmati rice, there is Egyptian rice, there's American rice. Each rice has its own weight. So we will just make it on the safe side, because I know that we have measured, when we used to give Zakatul Fitr to the people, we used to measure how much is, for example, how many kilos is the rice which is from Egypt, how much is the rice from America, how much is the rice is the basmati, long one, basmati short one. The difference is about 200 grams, 250 grams. So we made it to be safe. It will not exceed, if we take the sugar out, it will be 2.5 kilos, that's the maximum. So each sa', which is 4 handful, like this, is equivalent to what? 2.5 kilo, as not exact, precise, but this is to say that on the basis safe side. Whereas the sugar, 2 kilograms and 600 grams, 2.6 kilograms, 2 kilos and 600 grams, or even a bit more. So 2.5 kilograms of the rice. So if, for example, Khidr family, how many you got, mashallah, tabarakallah? 10. You and your wife? 12. So 12. How many kilos are you going to be producing now?
5.
How many kilos altogether? Come on. I know your glucose dropped down. Maths is not really correct.
Yeah,
come on. Your maths is well not really that.
30 kilos.
So he said 30. Because 12 multiplied by 2.5 is 30. So you're going to produce 30 kilograms. Now 30 kilograms, if you're going to send it yourself, it depends which country you're going to send it to. 30 kilograms in a country, it could be, for example, 30 pounds. 30 kilograms in another country, it could be, 15 pounds. Half price. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
As long as you produce the equivalent of 30 kilograms for your family. Okay? All right. So now we understand now, this is from any food except for the wheat. Wheat is half. But we usually before, we put the wheat as well the same, just to make it more better for the poor. But half sa'. That means 1.5 kilos. Okay, almost 1.5 kilos of the wheat. Fine. Now we understand this type of food, okay, is all dry food that can be stored. Like for example, rice, dal, lentil, raisins, curd. You understand curd? Anybody knows the curd?
It's like cheese.
Yes.
It's hard, yeah.
Very good. Hard cheese that can be kept. Hard cheese. Have you seen it? Curd? No? You don't know anything about curd, do you? You know Kurdish, but you don't know curd. No curd?
It's white, isn't it?
It is white.
Yeah, it's white, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, it's
It's a
curd.
thing on top of milk when you're making milk.
Yeah. Curd and Ways. There used to be a nursery rhyme in England about it.
Yeah.
Curd and Ways. I can't remember it.
Okay, Sheikh Google will help us. An image of curd.
Pictures of curd. Here you are.
Here you are. That's the curd they make for it.
Yeah.
Okay, dry cheese basically.
Yeah.
But we have, let me just say it in Arabic better. Surah عن الأقط. Not قطط. Put the cats. It's not a common word. That's the aqat. That's the one. Like that. This cheese is basically with lots of salt, which will keep it for a long time, called aqat. Remember, the poor people, they don't have freezers, so you could give them chicken and meat. That's why it was dry food. It's called ta'am. So, sa'un min ta'am. Like, as well, corn. Like sweet corn. You know the sweet corn as well? That sweet corn as well. Yeah, dhurra, sweet corn. That things that can be dry and can be as well. Sugar, I'm not sure about that. Scholars different. Is it food? Or is it food just sort of supplementary? Food aid. It's not food itself. I mean, who can live on sugar itself? Do you understand? You could live on rice, but not sugar. So some of the people said it's not food, and salt, they're not food.
Condiments.
They're condiments, yes. Correct. Now, you could notice here that the Prophet of Allah, he said, فَرَضَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَاعًا مِنْ طَعَامٍ. Prophet of Allah had made it compulsory upon us to make sa'. The Sharia, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent it upon us, He did not put the asl, the origin is to be money, and then the alternative is food. No, He put it in this case, what? Food. So He said Zakatul Fitr is food. It's not like the normal zakah or the sadaqah. Just like the udhiyah, which is a slaughtering on the day of Qurban, the day which is the day of Eid and the following 3 days. That udhiyah costs a lot of money, isn't it? But 70, 80, 100, 200 pounds. So if any person argue with you regarding that, why don't we just give it in money to the poor people? It would be better for him. Straight away ask him, okay, in Eid al-Adha, instead of slaughtering, can we give money to the poor people? He would say to you what? Straight away, no, slaughtering. Why slaughtering? Because Allah and His Messenger said so. He says the same thing. We say, no, we can't give it money for Zakatul Fitr. Why? Because Allah and His Messenger had said so. So whatever you use as an argument regarding the udhiyah, we use it for the same thing for what? Zakatul Fitr. Zakatul Fitr, the Sharia came and told us it is ta'am. But this food is food, but it could change from one country to another. Like for example, from the food is barley. In my country, if you give to barley, the people, they don't make bread out of barley, but some countries they do. I shouldn't say, you know the barley, sha'ir. They give the barley to the animals. The poor people, I'm talking about. So it's not, so it has to be from the food of the country. The food of the, do you understand me? So some of the people, they will not use barley. They will use rice now. But some of the people, they will say, no, I want barley. Some poor people, they will not use wheat. They don't have chicken to go and make it, with wheat and dip it in wheat and make it like crumble. They don't have that. Some of them, no, they want the wheat. I remember the Prophet, I want wheat. You have wheat, please, for my Zakatul Fitr? Because you want to make bread out of it. Poor people. So it depends upon which country you're in. So food, the food of the people. That is sa' min ta'am. If I left anything, inshallah, I will go back to it. But this is much more than what is being described here. So let's go now towards when do you, okay? So we say it is not allowed to produce Zakatul Fitr in what?
Money.
But I could give money to the masjid, and the masjid, to third party, will turn it into food to the what? To the poor. There's no problem about that. But please make sure that you give it to the people who know what to do with it. Don't just give it to any charity. So those charity, they don't know what you're going to do to it. If they're going to make this money and give it as very liquid to the poor people, or they're going to give it furniture or carpets. Do you understand me? One of the masajid, I was giving this talk yesterday in the Dhuhr prayer, and the Zakatul Fitr bucket was behind me. I said, with respect to the masjid I'm speaking, but if this masjid doesn't know what they're going to do with the Zakatul Fitr, don't give them Zakatul Fitr. These people, they used to collect Zakatul Fitr until maybe I spoke about it, and they used to give it to the orphans. How did I know that? Because one of them said, are we allowed to give it to schools or orphans? Straight away, what comes to your mind? How are they going to give it to the orphans in the school? They're going to give them wheat and barley, and they're going to give them rice. What are they going to give them? Anybody will tell me?
Books.
Books and pencils and computers and laptops. In Pakistan, I'm talking about. I said, brother, if you think, like some of the people think, that they're not going to give it in food, don't give it to them. But if you believe what I believe, they're going to give it in pencils. I said, yeah, they're going to give it pencils and papers. No. Food. It has to be food. You could give normal zakah. You could give sadaqah. But Zakatul Fitr has to be food. So all those people that have got no parents, they said, okay, let's even make it much more strict. That because you become the parent, so you have to give it, you have to take it as food. I cannot give it to you in money. So this masjid has to transfer this money to the trustworthy there in the other end, and those other end, they know what to do, that this is food. But let's listen now to something that you might learn, you've never heard it before, which is Zakatul Fitr, as I said, is being collected in the country and spent in a different country. That's what is the case now these days. It's not supposed to be given to any other country unless your country has got satisfaction. Like here, we don't have poor people, they're going to have food. We send it abroad. But if you are in XYZ country and you've got poor people around you, you're not allowed to shift this Zakatul Fitr to another country. Before you make these poor people, we're going to come to you with you to Salatul Eid and smile and share and participate. That's what the whole Zakatul Fitr is all about. Is to make sure that what? That the poor people are going to join in the Salatul Eid, is to be happy. They're not worried about any food. They've got food, mashallah, for the whole year. They've got a sacks of rice and sacks of, mashallah, he's happy. He will come and join. So let's say this masjid now is collecting Zakatul Fitr. Some masjid they take £5. Some masjid take £4. Some masjid take £3. I haven't seen masjid yet less than that. £5. I go to the £5 brothers. We've got another masjid £3. If you want to pay less, £5 was in Masjid Wise, the rich people. £4 Masjid Beit al-Had. A bit less, taxi drivers. £3 in Brixton, all of them unemployed. I'm saying, they are on the door. Most of them are on the door. And this I'm talking about actual thing. It's the £3 now in Brixton. So Brixton people, I'm going to get everybody from to pay to you, mashallah. You're the cheapest. Now, let's say that this masjid is collecting £4 each person. Okay? Shall I make it worse for calculation to make it really for you to think? So the masjid is collecting £3. They got in this box after collection £900. How many people had paid Zakatul Fitr? For these 900 for how many? Yes? 300. Well done. We divide 900 by £3. So you get what? 300 people. 300 people, it could be about 15, 20 families, 30 families, it doesn't matter. But I've got now the most people, in Puerto Rico, 300 people. How many kilos of rice should I give them, Ya Abdullah? Let them just see. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Ismail? It's a lot of... anybody?
How much rice do you have to give?
I told you before, 2.5 kilos.
Oh, it's 2.5.
But they should be price for them. How much?
2.5 kilos.
750. Yeah.
750, very well done, Allah. 750 of kilogram. It's 2.5 multiplied by 300. So this masjid, when they transfer money to XYZ country, let's say it's a country in Nigeria. First they're going to transfer to Nigeria. Okay, Nigeria, they have to tell them, not just to send the 900, they have to tell them this is for 300 people. For 750 kilos. 750 kilos in Nigeria, let's say they cost 200 pounds. Cheap there, mashallah. 200 pounds to get, for example, rice. Cheap. How much is left for them? 700. Because we gave them 900 and they spent 200 to get 750 kilos. The 700 pounds extra, they could do whatever they like with it. They could give it money to the poor people. They could give it chicken. They could give it meat with it. They could give cooking oil with it. They could give whatever they like. But how many people they know this? How many people are educated in the other end to know what I'm talking about? Unless it's not knowledgeable and experienced with these things. What the people would do, oh, we've got 900 pounds, it's a lot of money, mashallah. Let's buy chicken, guys. That's what they do. Because 900 pounds will bring a lot of chicken. And the poor people will be happy with the chicken. So if they do that, all these people, you've taken the money from them, you have to substitute for that money. As a person who's in Brixton, you've collected the money, they trusted you. You have to compensate to give out 750 kilos if your bucket is 900 pounds. 750 kilos of whatever you want. You could give the cheapest, 750 kilos of wheat. Let's say wheat is very cheap. To give it to the poor people before Salatul Eid. And that is why some people, they didn't realize that. They said, well, lots of money, I could buy now, mashallah, I could make one of them is made, we give tard. What is tard? Tard like a package. We put tuna for them. Tuna, habib. We put cooking oil with them, put rice with them. From the, what is the dry food? Get me the sa' for each person. Then after that, do whatever you like. Give them tuna, give them sardine, give them whatever you like. But give me the 750 kilos. Out of what of the food, like the rice, the lentil, the wheat, the barley, the corn, the sweet corns, all of that. Give me that, and then do whatever you like. Give money, cash money if you want. So the people has to know this. And you tell me, which charity they know these things? Which charity they gonna bother about these things? They don't bother. Except for, yes, very few charities which, they are respected, knowledgeable people. I know some of them, mashallah. But some they don't know. And that's why my Zakatul Fitr, I only trust it to give it to those people in Jordan, which I know them. They know what they're doing because they are really people who are dedicated and they are knowledgeable and they are as well 100% charity. They don't really take from whatever they give them out of their pocket. And that's the problem. These days they take from their pocket. Charity is a business. Good business. You know this Syria you provide to Syria? God knows what goes to Syria and what goes from that to the pockets who are workers. And they say, we are workers. عَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا وَالْعَامِلُونَ عَلَيْهَا. Allah says, the ones who are working on it. Does the people know that? Does the people that they know that when they give you, for example, the best blanket, you go and sell it in order to subsidize for your workers and yourself? Why is it you got a very nice car, mashallah? Out of that, charity. That's why I trust always the rich person. Why the rich person? Because he's not going to pay attention to peanuts money. So employ rich people. I'm not saying every poor person is bad, but I'm just saying this is more, if you don't know him, rich person, like a doctor, something like this, professor, he's not going to look at a few pounds, 900. He's got lots of, so you employ that, mashallah. Anyway, coming back, that's how we calculate. So if we have now a bucket, Talha, which collected, okay, question for everybody, collected 10,000 pounds. And the Zakatul Fitr, they said, is 5 pounds. I want to know, anybody would tell me, calculate how many kilos I should produce. I've got 10,000 pounds in the bucket. I made it easier, said to you, 10,000 and 5 pounds. The bucket says 5 pounds Zakatul Fitr. So they collected 10,000. This masjid, they're going to send it to Pakistan. How many kilos they should tell these people? Think. He said 500.
5,000.
5,000. Do you agree with that? You don't agree? I agree with it. It's very quick. Right. 10,000 divided by 5 makes it 2,000. That's 2,000 people. 2,000 people multiplied by 2.5 kilos, that's 5,000. 5,000 kilos. Very well done. Good maths, aren't you?
Well, we revise it recently.
Huh? Ah, mashallah. Very good maths, mashallah. 5,000 kilos. So I got 10,000 pounds, 5,000 kilos. I'm pretty sure 5,000 kilos in Pakistan, they don't cost 10,000 pounds, do they? No way. They will cost about what? 2,000 pounds. No more than that. So they're left with how much? 8,000. They could play with that, Not play with that to keep it in the pocket, but to play with that, whatever they weigh, to give it to the poor people as money. Because the poor person, when he receives a sack of rice and 20 pounds with it, we'll be praying for you.
But isn't that the Zakatul Fitr that we give wrong then? Because it's much more than...
No, it's not wrong. The more it is better.
Oh, the more is better.
The wrong it is less.
Oh, yeah. But if we gave the exact, that would be right, wasn't it?
No, give more is always.
Oh, okay.
Don't give exact, don't give more.
But you're giving like triple.
Remember, there's lots of hazards involved. Which country are you going to send it? And that country, they could have the rice jumped up in price. The currency of the pound, they could have gone down, like happened with me. I had to pay the difference when I took some Zakatul from here.
Yeah.
And I sent it there. I sent it and I gave a safety margin. If the pound is such and such, I gave a 1p safety margin. Tell them, exchange that, and I'll give you the money later on. They didn't receive the money, so they were in debt until I sent the money afterwards. When I arrived there, already the pound was plunging down. I didn't lose that much. I would say I'd lose about 2 pence in each pound. Not that much. Say about 200 pound, 300 pound. It's nothing. But imagine, so I've got millions.
Yeah.
Where am I going to bring the money? The difference. It's a lot of hazards. So to pay poor more is better, inshallah. It doesn't matter. Let them bang, bang, bang. We are in an industrial state.
So crisis aid, they know what they're doing, isn't it? Crisis aid, they know what they're doing.
Crisis aid?
Yeah, Luton.
I have no idea. I can't really vote.
Yeah, I know.
If you read the website, it tells exactly what
What he said,
done,
yeah.
I'm not really sure. People ask me about my masjid. I told them. So anyway, alhamdulillah, the masjid. Let's just talk about the other issue, which is when do you going to bring it?
The time at which is to be given. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu stated, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ordered that it should be given before going out to perform the Eid prayers. It is permissible to give it to a recipient a day or two before the day of Eid al-Fitr. Nafi radiallahu anhu said Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu used to give it to those who would accept it. He would give it a day or two before the day of Eid al-Fitr.
That continues what?
However, it is forbidden to delay it beyond its time without a valid excuse. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam obligated Zakat al-Fitr as purification for the fasting person from foul or vain speech and to feed the poor. If someone gives it before the Eid prayer, it is an accepted zakah. If someone gives it after the Eid prayer, it is simply a type of charity.
Basically, it's not allowed for you to give it after Salat al-Eid. But listen to me here. To give it here, that means to the poor person. Not to give it to the third party before Salat al-Eid, and then the third party will pay it after Salat al-Eid to the poor people. It doesn't work like this. If you find a masjid whom just before Salat al-Eid, they pass a bucket or a piece of cloth, brother, Zakat al-Fitr, don't give them a penny. Don't even trust them with anything. Why? When are they going to give this? already the countries whom they're going to send to, they've already prayed the Salat al-Eid, because we are later than them, you know that. Because they are Pakistan or other countries, they celebrate before us. So which country are they going to give it to? The masjid I was talking about, they alhamdulillah stopped now giving to the orphans, the Zakatul Fitr. And also they stopped about 3 years ago, and I told them, what are you doing collecting Zakatul Fitr before the person is going to say, Allahu Akbar Salat al-Eid? You are going to be in responsibility of passing this, okay, to those people. Those person who's given to him, khalas, alhamdulillah, he frees himself. Discharge himself from his responsibility. You are the one who's going to... So it is not to take it out, it's to the poor person to receive it before Salat al-Eid. It's not just to give it, I want to give it to her. No, it has to reach the poor person before Salat al-Eid. Otherwise it will be just a normal sadaqah. It will not be Zakatul Fitr. You're going to be sinned for that. So the masjid has to stop basically. Unless they've got the poor people here. Like in our country, you've got poor people. I could receive it before Salat al-Eid. Before Salat al-Eid. Brother, come here, poor person. Give it to her. Food. It's ready. Isn't it? In Pakistan, you live in between two neighbors, both of them are poor. Very easy. But in some other countries, it's very hard to find poor people. Here, we have to ship it, to link it. It's not really either. And when I link it, already, where is this person going to... Salat al-Eid has already been prayed. Okay, if you have paid Zakatul Fitr of yours, it has to be before Salat al-Eid in both cases. Before your own Salat al-Eid and before the Salat al-Eid of the what? Of that poor person. So make sure that you do that. So if, for example, you paid Zakatul Fitr before Salat al-Eid of yours to a masjid whom just going to be doing Salat al-Eid, and they know that there is a country XYZ, they have Salat al-Eid the following day, no problem about that. Because you gave it before your own Salat al-Eid, and this masjid, they know already that such and such country, Pakistan happened, was it, one day afterwards. You know that? It was one day after. Because there was 3 Eids in Pakistan. One in the north, I'm not joking, one in the north, one in the middle, one in the south. 3 Eids. Each one is having his own Eid. 3 countries in one country.
Mostly 2.
But this one's 3, I remember it. South, middle, and the north. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. So they gave it to the one, no problem. And so these people, yeah, you could give it to that, inshallah. طيب. How fast can you give it? As long as you give to the poor person 2 days and before Salat al-Eid, no problem. 2 days. What is 2 days? 2 days, let's say Ramadan is 29. So 29 is what? Makes it 2 days on the 27th day. 27, 28, before the 29. So I could give it to the poor person from the 27th, because I don't know when Ramadan is going to finish. 30 days or 29 days. But I could give it to the masjid before the beginning of Ramadan, no problem. Why? Because I know that this masjid is going to distribute this money within the last 2 days. As long as, when does that poor person receive it? Okay, so I give it in Ramadan, and then this other person will, inshallah, take it. طيب, sadaqat. Go ahead.
Its recipients. Zakat al-Fitr is only to be given to the poor. This is clear in the statement just quoted from Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, to feed the poor.
And the poor has to be Muslim poor. Write down, Muslim poor. طيب. Alhamdulillah, finish Zakat al-Fitr. Now we come to, what is the following topic? Eid prayer. So we come to the Eid prayer. Open the page please and tell them which page it is.
The Eid prayer on page 209.
You've got it? Yes, you got everybody? Yes? Continue. Fadl.
The status of the Eid prayers. The Eid prayer are obligatory upon both men and women.
That's it. So it is obligatory upon men and women. It's not obligatory on the children. Why? Because the Prophet of Allah used to do it, and he had commanded. Atish said, Prophet of Allah commanded us to bring with us the awatiq, the one which is, the one which is just becoming now for marriage. and also the ones which are never seen outside, they're always inside. Even the menstruating women, they used to come, they don't pray, but they witness the gathering. Okay, they witness the gathering. So even the Prophet of Allah had a woman asking Messenger of Allah, some of us, they don't have even clothes to come out. He said, let her borrow from her sister, from her companion, from her neighbor, and let them come to witness the gathering. So it's important. So there's no excuse for leaving the women behind. And when the men and the women go, then the children will go along as well. Can't leave the children. Who's going to babysit? So everybody's going to come to the Eid. So, but the children are not compulsory on their behalf. It's compulsory for the men and the women. So if you can't come except with the children, you have to bring the children. And the Eid is all about the children. Happy, you know. Are you looking forward for the Eid, yeah? Tell me?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? What is making you happy?
Money.
Is it money?
No.
So what is it then? Tell me. You tell me. Scratch your head and tell me.
Oh, the Eid presents we get.
8 presents. That's
Yeah.
very good. See? We have presents, we have money. Have to have it, isn't it? What about Thalban? What do you...
Playing computer.
Playing computer.
Yeah.
Okay. What else as well?
I like Eid prayer as well.
Okay. What do you think if we can bring a bouncy council?
That would be good.
That would be good, isn't it? Think about it, guys. What do you think?
They go on in their garden, they erect it. They erect it.
Which garden?
My garden, they've got a bouncy castle, they erect it.
The big one?
Yeah, yeah. Big enough for all of them to go on it.
Not to go to a proper.
Super big, yeah, you can't fit like a 6-foot one in
No, could hire it.
there. Yeah, yeah.
People come and set it up for us.
Yeah.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
You thought about doing it?
Yeah, because with the field,
Yeah,
if it's a good day,
Yeah, yeah.
the company will come, set it up.
Yeah,
and
they do,
believe me, you're going to make a different need for the children.
Yeah, of course.
Even for the adults, we'll go with bouncy. We'll share the children as well. What do you think, Talha? Super bouncy cousin, yeah? Yes, see? MashaAllah. Khalas. I'll speak about, I will push the brothers. Right. Go on. It's time.
The timing of the Eid prayers, Yazid ibn Khumayr al-Rahabi.
Okay, let me just quickly. So the time of the prayer. The time of the prayer is basically differs from the Salat al-Eid al-Adha to Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr, which one do you think we delay it more? Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha? Yeah, who said Eid al-Fitr? Why?
To eat something before you go. And also the Adhiya, you do the Adhiya.
Which one we make it later? Salat al-Fitr, you said Eid al-Fitr.
Yeah.
Because of what? To eat more?
You should hasten that.
No, you eat before, but which one do you delay? Delay it more. Why?
Either you have to do that.
Is it Eid al-Fitr? You do this?
No, the other one. Either you have to delay.
So which one do you delay?
Eid al-Adha.
Is it Eid al-Adha? Why do you Eid al-Fitr? Why Eid al-Adha?
Because you're doing the sacrifice, innit?
You can delay it, there's nothing you have to do after.
Okay, the sunnah, by the way, Eid al-Fitr is to delay it, and Eid al-Adha to hasten it. What's the reason? Eid al-Fitr to delay it, to give more time for the poor people to receive Zakatul Fitr. And that's when you come out of the house, first thing you start with the dates. And then the Imam will delay it to give more time for the people to receive Zakatul Fitr. Eid al-Adha is supposed to be the sunnah if you have a slaughtering, not to eat until you eat your udhiyah. So it's to be done as quickly as possible to make the people go ahead and slaughter. And if your Imam is slaughtering in front of everybody, you may not slaughter after the Salat al-Eid. You have to slaughter after he's slaughtering. To wait for him, slaughter, and then you slaughter. So that's why Salat al-Eid al-Adha to be earlier than Salat al-Fitr. In both cases, it has to be within the time which is halal. What is the time which is halal? It is when the sun had risen already. Okay? The sun had risen already. And it's about 3 meters above, you could say about half an hour after sunrise. Alhamdulillah, we are well about 2.5 hours. If I'm going to make it 9 o'clock, I said no, 8 o'clock would be better because it would be cooler, better, 8 o'clock. And plus, sunrise, between the sunrise and between the time of the prayer, 3.5 hours almost. Who had been watching the Night of Al-Qadr, sunrise? I've got a recording from it this year. And subhanallah, that was amazing. I'll share it with you in a minute, inshallah, after we finish. The sun stayed for a long time without beams.
On the 27th?
27th. No beams. And does not go up. Just stay there. As the Prophet said. Imam Sahib said, it does not go up. كأنها طست. Stayed like that. And it's like a moon. No sun, moon. SubhanAllah. طيب. Now we've got to go to this following title.
What is the end time?
Of the
What's the end time of the Eid? And when do you have to pay by? Is it before Dhuhr or?
Well, if you do it before Dhuhr, that is, you're going to be mukhalifa al-sunnah. It's just before Dhuhr. Mukhalifa al-sunnah. It will be accepted. Mu'awiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, he pushed the Salat al-Eid so late because it was with the Jumu'ah. So to make it for both Jumu'ah and Eid, he pushed it too late. So you could say about 2-3 hours after the sunrise. Now 2-3 hours after sunrise in that country is different from our 2-3 hours here in this country, because our sunrise is not 6 o'clock like there, 7 o'clock. It's about 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. Yes. Now, go ahead.
Going out to the place of prayer, Musalla. The aforementioned hadith demonstrates that the place of the Eid prayer is out in the open. It is not to be held in the mosque.
And that's the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. It's not to be prayed in the mosque. Okay? It's not to be prayed in the mosque, it's to be prayed outside. Now,
The Prophet ﷺ went out to perform it, and those who came after him did the same.
go on to the following title.
Is there a call to prayer or announcement?
There is no announcement. There is no adhan. There is no announcement. That's no come to the prayer, come to the prayer. The Imam would just say Allahu Akbar, and that's it. So there's no call for that. So there's no iqamah, there's no adhan, there's no calling. Okay? Further.
A description of the Eid prayer. The Eid prayer is 2 rak'ahs. It contains 12 takbirs, 7 in the first rak'ah after the opening takbir and before the recital of the Quran, and 5 in the second rak'ah before the recital of the Quran.
Colors. So we have this description of the prayer that you have first of all takbirat al-ihram, then after that you have 7 takbirat, then the Fatiha, then the surah, then Allahu Akbar ruku'. Then when you get up for the second rak'ah, say Allahu Akbar, then after that 5 takbirat. So the total takbirat al-Eid is 12. Don't count takbirat al-ihram, don't count the takbirah of going up. So 7 in the first and 5 in the second. 12 takbir. Is that understood? No. Second title.
The Quranic recitation during the Eid prayers. And Nu'man ibn Bashir.
Okay, Quran recitation is either Sabbih Isma Rabbika al-A'la in the first rak'ah and Al-Ghashi in the second rak'ah, Al-Ataka Hadithu Al-Ghashi, or in the first rak'ah you recite the surahs which I've never recited myself, Qaf, first rak'ah, and Al-Qamar in the second rak'ah, which are very long. Qaf in the first rak'ah and Al-Qamar in the second rak'ah. We always read what? Al-A'la, Al-Ghashi. I've never seen him that turned himself to recite Qaf. Have you seen it? No. I would be interested to YouTube me something like this, Eid prayer where, unless the Eid prayer is about 10 people, let's say it will be okay. But if you have a huge crowd, they will not tolerate for that long. No. Following title.
The khutbah is after the prayer.
Khutbah is after the prayer. Khutbah is not before the prayer, it's after the prayer. Following title.
Prayers before or after it.
There is no prayer before because it's a musalla outside, unless you come into the masjid. Masjid will be 2 rak'ah. Tahiyyat al-masjid. And there is no prayer after it. Go ahead, following title.
What is recommended to be done for the day of Eid?
Number 1.
Number 1, performing the complete ghusl.
Complete ghusl. Ghusl for the Eid is recommended. Remember, for Jumu'ah it's compulsory, but for Eid it's recommended. Number 2.
Number 2, wearing one's best clothes.
Best clothes, it means brand new. Brand new. Number 3.
Number 3, eating on the day of breaking the fast before going out for the prayer.
And in that case, you eat them in odd number. Odd number. Just only that case. And this is to break your habit, because you are in the mood of fasting. If you don't eat these dates, and you go to the salat late, you might forget yourself with the socializing, and you don't eat that day. And it's prohibited to fast the day of Eid. Haram. Salam barakatuh. That's a late arrival.
Just come back from work.
Allah Akbar. May Allah help
They
you.
said I just came out a little bit.
Yeah, you're scared.
Sure. The Ma'mumin, they hear 14 Allah Takbirs, right? They hear Allahu Akbar, then 7, then they hear Allahu Akbar, then they hear 5.
Yeah.
So in total they hear 14, right?
Yeah, we say 12. We say 12. Takbiratul Eid is 12 because we only say the addition ones.
Sure.
With Haram, they're going to say it. But the people, they don't say anything except everything in their mouth. This is a very important thing as well. Takbiratul Eid has to be said in the way you said Adhan. But not, we see that some of the people carried away, especially if they've got some Arabs amongst them. The Imam says Allah Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. What is it, we're going to jihad here? So it has to be silent. So just like the normal thing, silent, everything silent. Yes, with the takbirat of the ihram and with the takbirat of rafa, it becomes 14, but takbirat al-Eid, they say 12. Why they say 12? Because they're talking about the extra takbir you're going to add to the normal prayer. 12. And by the way, there's ikhtilaf in this. You go to a Hanafi masjid or the Dabandi masjid, they're not going to have 7 and 5.
Yeah, it's noticed that myself. Yeah, they don't do the 7 and 5.
Yeah, it'll be different.
They're just different. I don't know, they have
3 or something.
yeah, something like that. It's pretty different.
They have 5 and 3.
5 and 3. That's yeah.
Right, let's go.
Number 4, delaying eating on the day of sacrifice until one can eat from one's sacrificial animal.
So if you are Eid al-Adha, if you have a sacrificial, don't eat until you eat from your sacrificial. Now,
Number 5, taking a different path while returning from the prayer.
so you go to the musalla in one path and then differ the path. Just do that because of the sunnah of the Prophet. There's a number of things why. It's to witness more angels, to witness more people, but we say, Prophet of Allah just went from one path, you get different the path. So it's very easy these days. Just go from one street and then when you come back from a different street. Now, number 6.
Number 6, the saying of the takbir.
Takbir is very important. So with you and your family and takbir coming to the musalla, let's live the Eid. It's not a takbir just to sit down and hear some people who are really making takbir and sitting down, enjoying the takbir. I have to make takbir, I have to feel it. Make the takbir. وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. Now, in terms of the Adha takbir, it starts from the day of Arafah. Actually, it starts from the first day of the Hijjah, but they emphasize takbir from the day of Arafah until the last day, which is the Maghrib, or the last day of Tashriq. You've got 5 days, day of Arafah, day of Al-Adha, and the following 3 days, 5 days. As for takbir, the Eid al-Fitr starts from the moment you leave your house towards the Musalla and finishes when the Imam makes the Eid prayer. That's it. Right. As for what do you do with the takbir? Takbir, what do you say? Takbir, it's actually not restricted to one thing, but we have, for example, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar 3 times, Allahu Akbar twice as well. So Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Lillahi alhamd. Or you can say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Lillahi alhamd. So you've got 3 times and 2 times. Also Allahu Akbar wa kabira, Allahu Akbar wa ajal, Allahu Akbar, Lillahi alhamd. Also Allahu Akbar wa kabira, Allahu Akbar wa kabira, Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. So those takbirat as well is being mentioned from Salman al-Farisi, from Abdullah ibn Abbas, from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From the Prophet of Allah we don't have really authentic, but these are the takbirs of the Abdullah ibn Mas'ud and Abdullah ibn Abbas, and also from the takbir of Salman al-Farisi. The most, you could say, famous takbir is Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, which is Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, lillahi alhamd. But you could do more than that, inshallah. Now, takbir is not to be in jama'ah, to do it together. So let's just do it together. Allahu Akbar. No, it's not like that. But I will do my takbir. And if my neighbor, or the one who's next to me from the other side, had said the takbir and synchronized with me, no problem. But not to deliberately synchronize. So if usually it is the case, the louder always take the ones with him, the loudest in the sermon. Everybody will go with the loudest. So if you are a little, well, nobody going to make takbir with you.
That's better than
Huh?
That's better than
No, I'm not saying better. Always the loudest. Make takbir. It's natural, but I'm just saying that deliberate synchronization is not right. So we're not going to say to the first people that are synchronized, you are bid'ah people, don't synchronize. Come on, we start one Allah Akbar, and wait a second, Allah Akbar then. That's what is this? We're playing here like, the system of yours, Abu Khadr, like the system of yours.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, when you're not playing. Amplifier. It's not amplifier.
I was in the masjid when they're sitting down, you can't hear anything. You're just sitting there like a...
There's
Maybe it's takbir.
covered, isn't it?
Right. Have we finished?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Go ahead.
If the Eid is to be on the Jumu'ah, that's an important thing. First of all, it's most likely, let's say almost 100%, the Eid is going to be on Jumu'ah. For a number of reasons. One of them that the moon which was sighted in Al-Khamis was really thick moon. And I believe Arba'a was the first day. But we go with the people, the Muslims. And Turkey, they have started on Arba'a, on Wednesday they started. Turkey, big Muslim country, started on Arba'a. They started the moon. I was really actually surprised with Saudi, it was announced on Thursday, not on Wednesday. But anyway, we've gone with that. And we look at the moon now these days, if you watch it, it's almost not there. Because of this, we find that Jumu'ah is going to be the 29th day, which is the day of the Eid. So if it happens to be the Jumu'ah, then we have two Eids in one Eid. And it took place at the time of the Prophet. اجتمع في يومكم هذا عيدان. In the day of yours of this, two Eids had combined with each other. The Jumu'ah plus the Eid. And it was the Eid al-Fitr. He said, he who had witnessed with us this Eid, أجزاءه. It will be, if he wishes, it will be sufficing him. He doesn't have to come to the Jumu'ah. But we will make the Jumu'ah. وَإِنَّا مُجَمِّعُونَ. Prophet said, we will make the Jumu'ah. So, the Imam of the Masjid, which we don't have a Masjid yourselves, the Imam of the Masjid, he will perform two Jama'ah. First congregation for the Eid, outside the Masjid, and inside the Masjid there will be a Jumu'ah. Whether he's going to make the Jumu'ah himself or a different Imam, it doesn't matter, but there has to be a Jumu'ah. This is the Sunnah of the Prophet for a number of reasons. Some people that maybe they did not witness the Eid prayer for any reason, for a certain reason or another. We don't know. He was ill, he was not there, he was slept, or then he's got the Jumu'ah. That is why. And also the Prophet of Allah made it, so we make it. Now, what about if this person did not come to the Jumu'ah? Does he pray the whole prayer or he doesn't? We say, what time is it by the way?
23.
23. Got 23 minutes. We say, there's a difference amongst the scholars. Some say that you don't have to pray the Dhuhr. Because you've done, if it suffices you for Salat al-Eid, then it will suffice you. This is the saying of Shawkani, Sheikh al-Albani. But the general madhab of Hanabila, that they say that if you did not come to the Jumu'ah, you pray what? Dhuhr. As for the other, Imam Malik, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i, they said, no, you have to do two. Jumu'ah and. But we look at the proof that you don't have to do the Jumu'ah. Clear cut. Recommended, but it's not obligatory. Now, do I do prayer of Dhuhr? I will be on the safe side. I'll pray the Dhuhr. Just to be on the safe side. Because we do have narrations from some of those followers who came at the time of Muawiyah, when Muawiyah did not pray the Jumu'ah. They came to the Masjid, there was no Jumu'ah, because he made it Eid with prayer. So they offered the prayer of Dhuhr on their own. They offered the prayer of Dhuhr on their own in the Masjid. And